Welcome to Old Man Sports Talk. I'm your host, Old Man Nate, and today we are live from Twin Peaks in Oklahoma City, Southwest 6500 Southwest 3rd Street, right off I-40 between Rockwell and MacArthur. So if you're in Oklahoma City area and you're ready to looking for a place to come watch the OU game, come on out. They've got great food, great drinks, and great scenic views. So my best, if you're into sports bars and stuff, in my opinion, they have the best food out of any sports bar in Oklahoma City. They chicken fried steak, meatballs. They have appetizer meatballs. They got nachos, of course, burgers, and tacos. They got all types of food here. And then of course they got the coldest beer in town at 29 degrees. So come on out to Twin Peaks, Southside Oklahoma City, 6500 Southwest 3rd Street, and watch the OU game. If you're logging in, let me know if you can hear me okay. I see somebody logged in, so let me know if my volume's okay. I've been having some issues with it lately, so just let me know. So today we're here to talk about the OU UCF pregame show. OU's first game after coming off that big win against Texas. Not a surprise to me that they won. Surprise to the national media, and it skyrocketed them up to number 6 in the poll. I think they dropped to 7 last week, even though they didn't play. All right. Thank you, Tanish. Thank you for letting me know it's good. Appreciate that. So again, if you're in the area, come on by, check out Old Man Nate. I'm gonna do a pregame show, and I'm gonna sit here, watch the game, and then I'm going to do a post-game show after that. So yeah, big. I don't know if the bye week is a good thing or a bad thing for the Sooners this time. I mean, obviously it's midpoint of the season, so a bye week is good. However, right after a big win like OU had against Texas, I'm just not 100% sure that it was a good thing. We was riding really high, a lot of emotions, and there were some things going on that in the bye week that to me was not good for our football team. But we'll wait and see. What I'm talking about is too much really celebration over a win. And yes, it's a big win, it's a rivalry win, but still, I thought we focused too much on celebrating instead of just, okay, game's over, let's move on. Had it not been a bye week, we would have just moved on. And me personally, I would rather the team take just put that win in the past and let's move on. UCF, move on to the rest of our teams. Now UCF is not a Texas, but I'm going to tell you right now, UCF coming in here to Norman today, looking to win, would be their biggest win of the season. Even if they win the rest of their games and win a bowl game, this right here would be their signature win if they was to come in Norman and upset the Sooners. And the Sooners have got to stay focused on a team like this coming in. It's a big game for a few reasons for UCF. And it should be a big game for the Sooners as well, as the Sooners have ties to UCF. Both Jeff Lebby, their offensive coordinator, and Dylan Gabriel, Jeff Lebby's previous spot was Ole Miss, but before he was at Ole Miss, he was at UCF. He was the offensive coordinator at UCF under Josh Heupel, and his quarterback was Dylan Gabriel, and Dylan Gabriel came from UCF. So UCF's going to come in here to try and prove, if anything, that Dylan Gabriel and Jeff Lebby made mistakes. They should have stayed at UCF. And at the same time, Dylan Gabriel and Jeff Lebby need to be proven to UCF that they made the right decisions. So, yeah, I think the Sooners need to make sure we stay focused, stay, you know, on line for two main goals this year, and that is to win the Big 12 championship and national championship, which would mean making a playoff. So I definitely think the Sooners have the capability of doing both of those, but we all know the Sooners in the past have lost games they shouldn't have lost simply because they didn't stay focused. So, um, anyways, if you haven't already, please take the time to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. That way you get notified every time Old Man Nate drops a video or goes live. And again, we're right here at Twin Peaks, 6500 Southwest 3rd in Oklahoma City. Come on out, get you some lunch, enjoy the OU game. It's going to start here in about 54 minutes. And then, bring you some cold beer, get you some great food, and enjoy the game and the scenic views. If you're on TikTok, appreciate you joining us from TikTok. And yeah, come on out. If you're in Oklahoma City, come on out and watch the game, hang out with Old Man Nate, and watch the OU game. Hopefully the OU whoops up on UCF today. So before we're going to do a little bit right now. So like last week or 2 weeks ago, actually, when I did the OU Texas pregame, I went and got some stats to try and figure out, which side to take on Sooners or Texas. I'm obviously going to take OU today over UCF, but I do want to point out some things because there's going to be some, the Sooner defense is going to be really tested today, and as far as running games goes, it's going to be the best running team they have faced. Okay, so UCF's number 3 in the country in rushing at 246 yards per game. The Sooners defense is 28th in the country, only giving up 113 yards a game. So it's going to be a real challenge for the defense. But I do think we're up to it. We just cannot give up the big plays. That running touchdown that Texas had 2 weeks ago, put them that tied the game up. That was one of their longest runs they gave up all season. We got to avoid those. We got to avoid the long runs. And our defense all year has had a bend, don't break defense, and what I mean by that. So total defense, we're giving up 352.8 yards a game. However, scoring and that, by the way, is 52nd in the country. Okay, not terrible. It's good enough defense to get you to the playoff. If we had that defense, I believe it's 2016 when we played Georgia, we would have won the national championship. So that's great improvement. But here's the thing: like I said, we're a bend but don't break defense. We're giving up only 14 points a game, and that's number 7 in the country. All right, so that's really, really good. Now, passing yards, UCF is number 39 with 270 yards per game. So their total offense is number 4 in the country at 516 yards a game. So the Sooners defense is definitely going to be challenged today. If the Sooners can hold UCF to 20 points or less, then we have a really, really good defense. And I've said this before, maybe not on my show because I haven't did pregames every week until 2 weeks ago. But I've told people this. Like when we played to SMU, I would, if we held SMU under 20 points, I knew our defense was going to be really good. And we did hold SMU under 20. We held them to 11 points in that game. This is just another big challenge. Our defense has got to rise up to the occasion on. The Sooners are number 4 in the country in passing offense. Okay. with 341 yards per game. And then passing yards allowed, the Sooners are 85th in the country at 239, while UCF is only 26th at only 190 yards a game. So UCF's passing defense is pretty good. So the Sooners' offense is going to be challenged today. By numbers, it doesn't. I mean, not by numbers, but by the name and by rankings, it doesn't appear to be a big test for the Sooners. However, again, like I said against Texas, by stats, this definitely appears to be a tough game for the Sooners. Now let's take a look at who UCF has played this season. All right, they started off with a win against Kent State. They beat them 56-6. Kent State is number 128 in total offense and number 79 in total defense. So that was not a challenge for UCF, and they took care of business. The next week, though, they went on the road and played Boise State and got the win 18-16. That's a good win for UCF. But here's the thing. Boise State is actually ranked number 44 in the country in total offense and number 111 in total defense. So UCF's defense played really good, but their offense played terrible, and they still got the win. So then they played an FCS school in Villanova. Yes, Villanova's FCS in football, and they're a pretty good FCS team, but they won 48-14. So just to give you a number, in FCS rankings, Villanova is ranked 30th in total offense and 8th in total defense, and they still won 48-14. That just shows you the type of level difference between the FCS and FBS team. All right, if Villanova is probably going to compete for a national championship in FCS, and they couldn't even come close to playing a low-tier team in FBS. So they start off season 3-0, and then they got their first loss against Kansas State as they lost 44-31. Kansas State is ranked number 21 in total offense and number 65 in total defense. So Kansas State is usually known for their defense, not their offense, yet it's their offense that is ranked higher than their defense. So very interesting stat right there. Then they continue their losing by another conference loss to Baylor as they lost by 1 point, 36-35. And Baylor's ranked 60th in total offense, 83rd in total defense. So an okay offense, not really good defense. And again, that's another team that's historically known for having really good defenses, and they've had good offenses in the past, but they mostly, especially with Dave Aranda, who's a defensive-minded coach, they've really been known for their defense, and their defense is not even that good this year. And then they continued the losses in the Big 12 as they got beat bad at Kansas, 51-22. And Kansas is 33rd in total offense and 91 in total defense. So another bad defense, and they can only manage to score 22 points. Now, so they went 0-3. They lost their last 3 games, and they're 0-3 in the Big 12. But I will say this. All 3 of those losses was with their backup quarterback. They get Plumlee back today, and Plumlee is a dual threat quarterback, really good with his feet. He's very fast, and he can throw the ball. Okay. Now, because he's been injured the last 3 games, he's not stats wise ranked in the college stats. Because I looked for his numbers. Their backup McLean was, but again, he didn't do very good. So I'm not even going to throw his numbers out there. He's not playing today either, so it doesn't matter. Only way he would play is if Plumlee does get hurt. So maybe if OU goes up big, they might throw him in there and especially if UCF can't score, can't move the ball, they might throw him in there for a change of pace. But since they went 0-3, and they lost by 29, 1, and 13. I don't know if they would try and go back to that. Yeah, I think their best bet is with Plumlee. So UCS played marginal teams this season. 0-3 in the Big 12, lost 3 in a row, coming into Norman. This is it's a vulnerable spot for the Sooners, man. When you just look at that, you're like, what? We're not going to be their first win in the conference play. And the Sooners don't want to be, because I tell you what, you lose this game, you can kiss going to the Big 12 championship goodbye. Even though you got tiebreaker advantage over Texas, this is a bad loss. If they lose this game, this would be a bad loss. So I don't think there's any way the Sooners can afford to lose this game. So some other stats we're going to pull up here real quick. Okay, one thing that's, like I mentioned earlier, the Sooners have a bend, don't break our defense, okay? So here's some stats for you. The red zone defense, the Sooners are number 3 in the country. Only 11 times this season have they allowed a offense to get in the red zone. They have given up 3 passing touchdowns, no rushing touchdowns. Now, again, UCF is going to try and run the ball today. The Sooners have not given up a rushing touchdown this season in the red zone. Okay, no, I just said the red zone. They've given up rushing touchdown, like last week to Texas, I believe, may have been their first rushing touchdown they gave up. But they haven't given one up in the red zone. Now, Texas wasn't in the red zone when they gave it up. It's like on the 30, 35 or something like that when he made that run. They've given up 4. I believe they've given up 4 passing touchdowns. No, 3 passing touchdowns. 4 field goals. So out of 11 times getting in the red zone, 7 times has anybody scored. That's a red zone defense percentage of 63.6%. That's pretty good. Okay, now where they other teams have went wrong, they missed some field goals, and I know they've been stopped one because remember Texas had a 1st and goal from the 1, 4 tries, and they couldn't get in. So the closer you get to the end zone, Sooners get tougher. Now let's take a look at UCF's red zone. Okay, they're number 65 in the country. They've allowed opponents 24 times to get into the red zone. Of those, they've given up 13 rushing touchdowns and only 2 passing touchdowns. Again, their strength is their pass defense. So closer you get, their defense stiffens up too as passing goes. And then they've given them 5 field goals. So 20 out of 24 times the opponent has scored that's a percentage of 83.3 times the other team has scored. So as soon as getting the red zone, they should score. All right. And it looks like it's probably going to be the easiest way to score is rushing touchdowns. Now, let's talk about the red zone offense. The Sooners are ranked 23rd in the country in the red zone. When they get there, they've got there 33 times, 14 rushing touchdowns, 9 passing touchdowns, including that game winner against Texas. They also kicked 7 field goals. I don't know how many they missed. I know they missed 1 at least. And so 30 out of 33 times the Sooners have scored with a percentage of 90.9. So 91%. That's excellent. Great job, Sooners. So Sooners if you look at that percentage, what Sooners are scoring on the red zone percentages, and then what UCF has given up, obviously it favors the Sooners. So get in the red zone, Sooners are going to score. Now, here's another thing. UCF red zone is only 106. They're ranked 106 in red zone offense. They've got there 25 times. They've scored 11 rushing touchdowns, 4 passing touchdowns, so 15 and 4 field goals. So 19 out of 25 times they scored. That's 76%. So that's still a pretty good percentage. However, Not good enough to beat the Sooners, and especially when you look at what the red zone defense is for the Sooners. If it comes down to red zone plays, definitely favors the Sooners over West Virginia. No, not West Virginia. I just looked at TV and see West Virginia over UCF. Scoring offense, the Sooners are ranked 4th in the country at 45.2 points per game. UCF is ranked 28th at 34.7 points a game. Scoring defense, again, we mentioned earlier, the Sooners are ranked 7th in the country at 14 points a game. And the UCF is ranked 85th at 27.8 points a game. So just by looking at those numbers, you'd think it's going to be a high-scoring game today. I'll give my prediction here in a little bit. But before we do, let's talk about getting further. Let's talk about some other games going on today. Some really good games. First of all, 11 o'clock, and I cannot believe this game is at 11 o'clock. This game right here should be a night game in Columbus, Ohio. You got now these rankings I'm giving are off my rankings. If you haven't seen my rankings, go watch my video. I release my rankings every week, and I'll just run through them really quick. I'm not going to talk about them. I'm just going to go in reverse order. 25, I got Florida. 24, Miami. 23, Kansas. 22, USC. 21, Missouri. 20, Iowa. 19, Louisville. 18, Air Force. 17, Notre Dame. 16, Tennessee. 15, Duke. 14, Utah. 13, Oregon State. 12, Ole Miss. 11, Alabama. 10, Oregon. 9, North Carolina. 8, Texas. 7, Oklahoma. 6, Florida State. 5, Georgia. 4, Ohio State. 3, Washington. 2, Michigan. And number 1, I've got Penn State. And speaking of Penn State, they're going to Columbus, Ohio today, take on Ohio State. Again, this game should be a night game, not an 11 o'clock game. And I got Penn State winning this game. I really think their offense and defense is really good. Now, granted, they haven't played nobody. Ohio State really hasn't played nobody either. Yes, they beat Notre Dame in what is a questionable win because Notre Dame only had 10 players. Ohio State won on the last play of the game, and Notre Dame only had 10 players on the field on the last 2 plays, actually. So if they have that 11th player out there because they ran right over where that 11th player was supposed to be, do they score a touchdown? We'll never know. But because they wasn't out there, to me, it's a questionable win. I just don't see Ohio State's offense good enough to score points on Penn State today. I think Penn State's offense is just going to be good enough to get the job done today. So I believe Ohio State's like a 6-point favorite. If you're a betting person, take Penn State in this game all day because even if they don't win, it's going to be closer than 6 points. So Michigan's going to play at Michigan State. That should be a blowout. I don't see that being a close game. Washington is going to play Arizona State. There's another one. It's going to be at Arizona. Or no, it's a home game for Washington. My bad. Yeah, Washington should take care of business pretty easy. It's going to be a late game tonight. Florida's another night game night. This is the one that's on ABC that Ohio State, Penn State should be doing. These games should be reversed. It depends on if Duke's quarterback is playing or not, on how much chance I give Duke in this game. If he's playing, then I will give Duke a chance. But if he's not playing, then I got Florida State in this game easily, probably by double digits. We mentioned OU, UCF. We're talking about that game now. Texas at Houston play at 3. This should be an easy game for Texas, but just like OU, they can't be sleepwalking through their games the rest of the season. They have to go in and they have to dominate. And the Sooners have been dominating. They've been winning their games like they're supposed to. Texas has been slower started. Against Wyoming, it was 14-14 going, or no, 10-10 going into the fourth quarter. They won by 21, but they were sleepwalking. They can't do that. Houston won by a Hail Mary last week over West Virginia. Texas cannot afford to lose a game like that again at all, period. North Carolina against Virginia should be an easy win for North Carolina. Oregon against Washington State. Washington State got their butts beat pretty bad last week, which is a surprise to me. I'm not sure if anybody got hurt, like their quarterback. I haven't heard anything like that, but that would just make me. I mean, because he's having a really good season, so that was kind of a shocker. Oregon should win this game though. Somebody trying to join my live. I don't know who they are, so we're not gonna accept that. Ole Miss at Auburn. This is a squeaky, interesting game. Ole Miss should win this game. They're favored, I think, like by 6. They should win. They should cover this game. However, Auburn played Georgia close, right? Their terrible offense was managed to score, and against a really good defense, managed to score some points. So, Ole Miss does not have a great defense. They have a very average defense, if that. So who knows? Auburn might be able to. It's at Auburn, so Auburn offense might come alive, but I would think that Ole Miss would win that game. Utah at UCF. I told my brother last night this is a late night game. It's not. It's a 7 o'clock game. But Utah at USC. Oh, I'll skip the game. We'll come back to it in a second though. Utah at USC. Utah's won the last 3 against USC. USC got their butts handed to them last week against Notre Dame. Now, Utah's defense is really good. I think they can slow down Caleb Williams and get pressure on him and, cause problems. I'm just concerned about their offense. Even though USC's defense is terrible, I'm still concerned, can they score enough points? Now, last week against California, their offense looked like the best it's ever looked all season. Can they keep that going? If they can keep that going, then Utah should win this game pretty easily. I'm not saying by 20 like Notre Dame did, but they should win by probably about 9 or 10. Alabama and this number 11 Alabama against number 16 Tennessee, 2:30 game. It's in Tuscaloosa, but Tuscaloosa's already lost once this year. Tennessee has a really good defense. They're going to get pressure on Milroy, whatever his name is. But their offense has not been as good as it was last year. Alabama's really good defensively. This should be a low-scoring game, but I would not be surprised if Tennessee does upset and for the second year in a row start their own streak against Alabama and win for the first time in I don't know how long. That last time they won back-to-back in this rivalry game. I believe before last year, Alabama had won like 15 or 20 years in a row. And so Tennessee, they're not wanting to win just one. They're wanting to win multiple. They got multiple games to make up for. So sit back and smoke them cigars. In case you don't know, that's a tradition. The winner of this game smokes cigars. So that's something that they'll be doing. The winner will be doing today. But I would not be surprised if Tennessee upsets Alabama today. By the way, the loser of this game most likely is eliminated from the SEC championship. All right. Both teams already have a conference loss. Or no, I'm sorry. I take that back. Tennessee already has a conference loss. Alabama's loss was a non-conference to Texas. So I take that back. If Alabama loses, they'll still be in front. They've already beaten Texas A&M. They still got to play LSU, so they still have a chance to make it to the SEC championship. But a loss here by Tennessee does eliminate them. That would be 2 conference losses, and even if they was to beat Georgia, that would, as of right now, that would put Georgia their only loss. Now we're gonna no, Georgia's off this week, so I don't have them circled here. But Georgia, even though they've had a pretty easy schedule, their hardest parts are coming up now. They're off today. They will play Alabama. They will play Florida in the largest cocktail party in next weekend, and they lost Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers has been the only offense they've had consistently, and it really hadn't even been consistently. But he's the only when they need somebody, he's the only one that's been there. Without him, I just don't see Georgia going undefeated. And he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. He had surgery on his ankle. Now, this bye week counts as one of those weeks, so that's a bonus. And then they play Florida. Then they're going to play Missouri. Then they're going to play Tennessee, and then they play somebody else. I forget who it is. And then they'll play Georgia Tech. So, yeah, I think that team they'll play won't be in somebody. It's a non-conference game. It doesn't matter. So, no, Georgia Tech's their non-conference game. So it will be another conference game. Yeah, I'm not sure. It might be Kentucky. I'm not sure. But yeah, Florida, Missouri, and Tennessee, those actually I think they play Kentucky before they play Tennessee. But those 3 games, and they might have Brock Bowers back. It's right there on the edge. Brock Bowers might be back for Tennessee. But those 3 games are going to be tough to win for Georgia without Brock Bowers. So could a loss to Alabama completely eliminate Volunteers? Probably not. But if Georgia was to somehow get by, and then it comes to Georgia, Tennessee, then yeah, that second loss, that loss to Alabama would. I mean, you still want to beat Georgia, but it's not going to put you in the conference championship at that point. Air Force at Navy, love to see these military games. Air Force is really good this year, but I believe they're going to be missing their starting quarterback. I didn't get to watch the game last week against Wyoming, but I was surprised that it was as close as it was but it was close because they lost their quarterback. But they still got the job done. Navy is not as good as they have been in the past. But this is a rivalry game. Like all rivalry games, you expect them to be close. You do not expect blowouts. This game is in Annapolis for where Navy is. So Navy's going to be fired up. This game means something. The Army, Air Force, Navy, they play for a Commander's Cup. And so this is game 1 of that Commander's Cup for Navy and Air Force. They both still have to play Army. Of course, Army Navy is the last game of the season in December. And then Air Force and Army will play here in a couple weeks. But the winner of this is in the driver's seat to take home that Commander's Cup. Air Force hasn't had the Commander's Cup in a while. It's been Army or Navy. So this is a big game for Air Force. I like Air Force in this game, though. I was going to play Minnesota. 24 Missouri is going to host South Carolina. I like South Carolina in this game. Both of these teams are about even, but I think South Carolina is going to come into Columbia and upset the Tigers. And then Miami hosting Clemson. Miami's lost 2 in a row, and they played. They really shouldn't have. They shouldn't have lost 2 weeks ago to Georgia Tech, and then they played North Carolina good, but North Carolina was a better team, and I think Clemson's a better team here too. I got a friend of mine. He's a Miami Hurricane, and guess what he's doing this week? He's not watching the Hurricanes. He done told me he's giving up on them, and he is traveling to. I believe he went to Greece. Him and his son took a trip to Greece, so he's not even going to be watching his Hurricanes play. He's going to be enjoying Greece. That'd be awesome. That's an awesome trip. That's a place I'd like to go sometime. So I got Penn State upsetting Ohio State. I got Florida State getting by over Duke. I got Oregon beating Washington State. I got Tennessee upsetting Alabama today. Utah beating USC. Air Force beating Navy. South Carolina upsetting Missouri. And Clemson upsetting Miami. So, again, if you're in Oklahoma City, come on by the Twin Peaks at 6500 Southwest 3rd Street, right off I-40 between Rockwell and MacArthur. When you come out here, you want to hang out with old man Nate. I'm in the caveman room, they call it. Yeah, they stuck me back here in the corner today. But yeah, just come on out here. Check out some, again, come on out here to Twin Peaks, 6500 Southwest 3rd, right between, right off I-40 between MacArthur and Rockwell. They stuck me in the corner. I'm in the caveman, so come on back, hang out with old man Nate, watch the OU UCF game, the Penn State Ohio State game, and eat some great food. They got some really good food here. I love their tacos. Their chicken fried steak's really good. They got pot roast. It's really good. They've got burgers. They've got appetizers, nachos. They got ribs here. I like the ribs. So come on out here. The coldest beer in town, 29 degrees. Come on out here, Twin Peaks. Hang out with old man Nate. Get some great food. Enjoy the OU UCF game. So we're about 25 minutes left before kickoff. Let's take a look at who the Sooners have played this year. They started off by playing Arkansas State. Arkansas State is ranked 93rd in total offense, 125th in total defense, and it showed as the Sooners won 73-0. Then they went to SMU, and I'm telling you, week after week, that win against SMU is showing to be a really good win. SMU plays in, it's not a Power 5 conference, but again, anytime, every win they get improves the Sooners' strength of schedule. And SMU, I believe their only loss is against the Sooners. I'm going to check that real quick. Let me see if I can find something real quick on that. Let me see here real quick.
ESPN.
Let's see here. UCF scores. Let me check something. No, top 25. Yes. Yeah, checking something really quick because I think I might be wrong, but I think SMU's only loss is to the Sooners. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Oh, they lost to TCU too. So the only losses are to two Big 12 teams. They are 5-2. All right, and they got beat by 17 to TCU too. So not a great loss. Not a great loss for the SMU, but still it's a Big 12 team. They can manage to run through their conference undefeated. It looks good for the Sooners. SMU, by the way, one of three teams the Sooners have played that have both their offense and defense ranked in the top 50 in total offense and total defense, as SMU is ranked 49th in total offense and 19th in total defense. Everybody ragged on OU only scoring 28 points against SMU, but when you're 19th in total defense, it don't look so bad. All right. Then they, by the way, the Sooners won 28-11. Then they went to Tulsa and beat them 66-17. Tulsa ranked 82nd in total offense and 105th in total defense. Then their first Big 12 game, they beat Cincinnati 20-6. Another team ranked in top 50 in both offense and total offense and total defense. Cincinnati's ranked 31 in total offense and 37th in total defense. Then they beat Iowa State 50-20. Iowa State only 108th in total offense, but ranked 29th in total defense. So top 30 total defense team, and you score 50 points on them. That's pretty impressive. Now you gave up 20 points, but two of those touchdowns, actually both their touchdowns, was busted plays. The Sooners had, safety overplayed the ball and it left the receiver wide open. Instead of making a play on the receiver, made a play on the ball. And both situations turned out to be long touchdowns for Iowa State. And then, of course, 2 weeks ago, the Sooners beat their third team ranked in the top 50 in both total offense and total defense, as Texas beat Texas 34-30. Texas is ranked 14th in total offense, 26th in total defense. By the way, yes, this Texas got 30 points, but the defense only gave up 23 of those points. As you remember, a by the block punt by Texas led to their first score. So 3 teams they beat with top 50, or 3 teams they beat that are ranked both in total offense and total defense top 50. That's pretty impressive. I'd have to go through and look and see how many other teams in the country have done that. Probably not very many. I don't really have comparisons. I try to get quarterback comparisons for this week, or I try to get them every week because I think you can compare quarterbacks. You can get a lot of read on who's going to win, who's not going to win. But again, Plumlee don't have any rankings because he missed the last 3 games, which is half the season for them. So nothing accurate. But I will say Dylan Gabriel is ranked number 6 in the country in passing efficiency at 178.23. I'm not sure what that means. So now their backup, though, was ranked number 7, Timmy McClain at 177.90. So I think that's in a way, kind of like a QBR rating, and rankings are higher in college than they are in NFL. So anyways, I think really the keys to this game are going to be, can the Sooners stop the rushing game? All right. And then also on the reverse side, can the Sooners run the football? All right. We've talked all season about Sooners not running the ball very good, but surprisingly, they actually ran for more yards than Texas did 2 weeks ago. Now, the leading rusher was the quarterback. I don't want Dylan Gabriel to be the leading rusher today. We need a running back to be the leading rusher today. If Dylan Gabriel is our leading rusher today, then we have some serious issues. UCF, again, they're 120th in rushing defense, giving up 197 yards a game. The Sooners, though, offensively, rushing offense is 55th at 164 yards a game. That's not bad, but we all know that their running backs have just not been able to get the job done. I believe I didn't verify it myself, but I heard that the longest run from scrimmage today for a running back is 19 yards this season. I want to see some 30, 40, 50-yard runs today. So if the Sooners can run the ball, I think they win pretty easily. If they can't run the ball, this will be a closer game than we want it to be. I think the Sooners will give up some yards on, like they have all season. But I tell you, if they force UCF into 3rd and long, then it's definitely an advantage for the Sooners, and they can still, defense can hold up and get off the field, and the Sooners offense should be able to take control. I think definitely the key is, like I said, Sooners got to be able to run the ball. They got to be able to stop the run. Those 2 things happen, then I think the Sooners win easily. There it is. Okay. Here's another key thing. All right, so turnover margin, the Sooners are ranked number 1 in the country. The Sooners have defense has gotten 15 turnovers this year, 4 fumbles and 11. Or I'm sorry, that's not right. I had to rewrite. I'm trying to find. I don't think I have it. I think they've gotten 13 interceptions and 2 fumble recoveries, and they've only turned the ball over 4 times. So 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles. So they're at a plus 11 in turnover margin. That's number 1 in the country. UCF is 118th in the country. Their defense has only got 5 turnovers, but their offense has turned the ball over 10 times. So that's a negative 5 turnover margin. And then they're averaging negative 0.83 turnovers a game, while the Sooners are averaging 1.83 turnovers positive in a game, right? So should be, Sooners create turnovers, turn them into points. It becomes an easy win for the Sooners. Sooners can run the ball. Sooners can stop the run, an even bigger, easier win in the game this today. What we got here? We got about 10 more minutes to talk. So again, if you're checking out the game, got nowhere to watch the game, come on down to Twin Peaks, 6500 Southwest 3rd in Oklahoma City, where they have great eats, great drinks, and great scenic views. They got some of the best. Hey, I said this before. If you like going to sports bars, Twin Peaks has the best food out of all the sports bars in Oklahoma City. It's not even close. Okay, they don't just have burgers. They've got all types of food. They have, they do have burgers, but they also have chicken fried steak. They've got pot roast. They've got tacos. They've got appetizers like nachos. They've got some ribs. Ribs are out of this world. They're really, really good. Yeah. So if you want to watch the OU game and you're hungry, come on down to Twin Peaks. You got some great food. They've also got the coldest beer in town at 29 degrees. And again, they got, I don't know how many TVs they got. They got probably about 50 TVs up in here. So they'll not only have the OU game on, they'll have the Penn State, Ohio State game on. Or if you got another game you want to watch, they'll come on down. They'll put that on for you too. And of course, they got some great scenic views. All right, service is great here. So come on down. Twin Peaks, 6500 Southwest 3rd in Oklahoma City. That's right off I-40 between Rockwell and MacArthur. Old Man Nate will be here to watch the OU UCF game. So come down and hang out with Old Man Nate. He's out. They got him in the cave. Caveman. He's back there in the corner today. All right. So, what's my prediction on the score? So, the line opened up for the Sooners a 19-point favorite. I jumped all over it. By the way, Sooners, I got to see how many the Sooners have covered the spread in every single game this season. They're 6-0 against the spread, including against Texas 2 weeks ago, where they was actually the underdog. So they covered that because they won, right? But yes, the Sooners have covered every spread. I got them covering today. Also, the lines went down even more. Last time I checked, it was a 17-point Sooners favor. I think they covered 17. I think they covered 19. I think they get 50 today easily. I want to see them hold UCF to under 20 points. I'm only concerned about their mindset. Big win. Can we continue to stay focused one game at a time? I hope they can. This doesn't strike me as a team that feels like they've reached their goal for the season. I feel like they can stay focused. Brent Venables is a guy that keeps players focused. So I've got the Sooners win today, winning big, 63-20. So that's what I've got. I think it'll be a good game for the Sooners. By the way, it's homecoming. All right, so you don't lose homecoming games. You lose homecoming, that's there ain't no party afterwards. You lose homecoming game. So that's what I got today. I got Sooners winning big, 63-20, 43-point win right there. Easy cover for the Sooners. I believe the over/under was at 67. So again, that's another easy cover. And Sooners almost covering it by themselves. If you're watching the show, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about the prediction. Tell me what you think about the show. Again, like, subscribe, ring the bell. That way you get notified every time Old Man Nate drops a video or goes live. We're right here at Twin Peaks again, 6500 Southwest 3rd Street in Oklahoma City. Come on down, eat some great food, enjoy some great drinks, and enjoy the game and the scenic view with Old Man Nate. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and log off. I'll be back. I'm going to try and be back on at halftime. Do a little what I think needs to happen or how things going at halftime, and then we will obviously do a post-game show. So appreciate you guys for dialing in. And again, come on down here. If you're in Oklahoma City, please come on down. Hang out with Nate. Would love to say hi to you. And we'll see you at halftime right here on Old Man Sports Talk.